anyone that's not here, I'll email it out tomorrow and they can watch it. So hopefully, Matt, you can join us. If not, you can send me a message. There's a button down the bottom called chat and you can click on that. What I'm going to do now is just share my screen, and I've got some discussion points to go through. Oh, where are we? Here we go. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Well, welcome everyone. I'm Justine Barsley. I'm the founder of Perth Upmarket. Started at about coming up to 13 years now, back in 2008. And I was like you, I was a creative, I was making kids' clothes at the time. And I moved to Perth and I couldn't find any great markets that I had experienced on the East Coast. And I had a friend on the East Coast as well, and we were both in the same situation where like we should just start our own market. And so that's how the Upmarket became to being, was as an outlet for me to sell kids' clothes, and then it kind of just took a life of its own and it's become my full-time business pretty much. Hi, Jean.
Hi there.
Hi. Nice to meet you online.
Yep.
So I think we've got 5 or 6 here. Matt's having a bit of problem with his audio, but hopefully he can hear us. Otherwise, I will email this out tomorrow as well. So the session today is for the new people like yourself who are joining Upmarket, and it's all about helping you get ready for the market so that when you arrive on Sunday the 21st of March, that you feel confident, you know where you got to go, what you got to do, and hopefully any anxiety or stress that you may have is put at ease with me answering all your questions today. So we're going to talk about before the market, on the day, and also after the market. And the aim of the session is to help you be fully prepared so that you have a successful market day. And also if you've got some questions that you've been keeping you up at night, now is a good opportunity to get those answered, because I'm sure you're not the only one, and no question is a stupid question. Please feel free to use this opportunity to ask a question. If you think of something afterwards, we do have a private Facebook group for retailers, and you can post in there at any time as well. And there's hundreds of other creative people like where can I get paper bags, or how much change should I have, or all those little things that have probably been playing on your mind. You can ask those in the Facebook group as well. So here's some of the things that I'm going to run through. So to start off with, how does the day run? Well, basically before the market, and it'll probably be either later this week or next week, you will get a very detailed email called Important Market Day Information, and it will have all the instructions about where you need to go, where your stall is, what time to come, where to park, all of that. But generally the day starts, well, the market will start at 9 o'clock for our VIPs from 9 till 10, but officially it's advertised from 10 till 4. So between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m, we'll just see if we can let Matt in again. Between 6 and 9 is our bump-in time, and the bump-ins are staggered. Every 10 or 15 minutes we have so many people coming so that everyone doesn't all arrive at once and we get a big backlog. And we have been doing this for over 12 years now, so we do have it running like a well-oiled machine. So basically you will be sent an email with your map, how to get there, where your stall is, and what time slot you have been given. You'll also get sent a parking pass, which if you can print that out and put it on your dashboard, it just helps us to help you navigate to where your stall is in case you've gone to the wrong area, because there is over 200 stall holders, so it is quite a big event. But saying that, 80% of the stall holders have done the event before, so most of them know where they're going. However, you guys, most of you are going to be in our new section called First at Upmarket, and I'm going to make sure that I'm around in the morning to because I know what it's like when you have a couple of new people, but when they're all in the one area, there'll be me and some other people hanging around in that space to make sure that you know how to set up and where to set up, and yeah, point you in the right direction. So yeah, the market will open at 9, so you need to be ready at 9 for the VIPs. Now it may not be a big rush straight at 9 o'clock because that's advertised just to our newsletter subscribers, but you are welcome to invite your family and friends and your database if they want to come early, because 1, it's easier to get a park, 2, they beat the crowds, and 3, they get to pick the best first look at all the designs. So you can use that in your promotion as well if you want to invite people to come at 9 o'clock. So then the market will run from 10 till 4, and then from 4 o'clock onwards is when we pack up, and basically you can just, if you are in the first upmarket section, your car won't be too far away, so you'll be able to just trolley your stuff out to your car and leave straight away. The people who are in the big Winthrop Hall and out on the grass, they will bring their cars in. So it's a bit more of a staggered process, but I think everyone here is in the first upmarket section. So I'll show you all that in a minute. So how to get there? I don't know if you've been to UWA before. I'll just show you a bit of a map. So this is a bit of a map looking upward or looking down, bird's eye view. You have Sterling Highway and Mounts Bay Road, and then this is a street up the top here that comes, I think it's Thomas Street, that runs along Kings Park, and over here we have Matilda Bay. So there's a set of traffic lights at the front of the uni, and when you look over you'll see the big clock tower, which is the Winthrop Hall, which is this building. We have stalls in this building, we have stalls on the grass, we have stalls along the veranda here, and all along here we have food, and our first upmarket is in the Hackett Cafe here. So you'll get sent all the instructions, but for the people who are in first upmarket, you'll basically come in at the lights, you'll turn left, and then the first right, you'll come into car park 1, which is where the sports and recreation centre is. And you can unload at the front of the car park here, and there'll be someone here standing to direct you where to go. I would recommend that you bring a trolley to make it easier, but it is all on one level. There's a bit of a ramp and through this hallway into the Hackett Cafe. Once you've put your stuff at your store, we ask that you come back, get your car, and you move your car to the back of the car park up here where it's got B. And that's just so that we free up the spaces for the customers, because there's nothing worse if they get there and there's 40 spots already taken by all the store holders. So I will have a person there just reminding you to unload your gear, come back, move your car, and then in the afternoon you can always move it back when you're ready to load. So once your car's moved, come back, and then you can set up your stall space. And depending on what you've put on your application form, we'll allocate you a time, and it could be anywhere from 30 minutes to 2.5 hours, depending on how long you said you need. But there's a little bit of flexibility there. If you put down you only need an hour, but you think, oh, I actually need an hour and a half, we can jiggle that as well. So most of you will come in and be in the Hackett Cafe area. Now that used to be our dedicated junior upmarket. This year we've changed it, and it's going to be our first upmarket space. I've got some new signage, I've got a red carpet, I've got balloons, so I'm really trying to drag people down there. You know, in the past, some people didn't go in there because they went, oh, I don't have kids, but we're really doing a lot of marketing to drive people and a lot of visual presence to get people into that. There's actually a long walkway, and it basically leads straight into that hall anyway. So I don't think there'll be a problem with foot traffic. There may be a couple of people who are in the Winthrop Hall, the bigger hall, and if you are, your directions are slightly different, and those people will actually have to drive right around and come in near the Octagon Theatre. There's like a little internal road. There'll be someone here to meet you, and then they'll show you where to unload at the side of the hall. And then those people in the Winthrop Hall or on the grass will then go up past the art gallery, and there's 2 car parks car parks 17 and 18, and that's where all the retailers that are in this zone will park, not in the art gallery car park, because we leave that for customers. And then in the afternoon, when the day is finished, you will pack everything up, you'll go and get your car, and you will come back around, back in to load up. But that's just for the people who are in the Winthrop Hall or who are on the southern grassed area in the marquees. I think most of you are going to be in the Hackett Hall if you're in the first at Upmarket section. So that's just a bit of an idea. You're more than welcome, if you want to go over before the event, maybe go on one of the other Sundays, because Saturdays and Sundays is free parking. So if you went over there and had a little look around once you've got your map, you're more than welcome to go to the uni. It's sort of open to the public at any time, so that you get your bearings and it's not so stressful on the day. Are there any questions so far about getting there? And there, as I said, there is a detailed email stepping you through, go here, go there. You'll also get like a map of your stall. Let me just show you an example. Get rid of this one. Where's my market map? Here we go. So for example, this is the first Upmarket map, Hackett Cafe. Now it's 95% right, but we may have to move some people around. So as you can see, there's 24 stalls in this hall, and this is the Hackett Cafe area. Yeah, so you can have a look at where your spot is here, but it may slightly change. We've still got a couple of people that we're reconfirming and moving around. And then the map actually goes over a number of pages. So off the Hackett Cafe, there's a veranda and there's 18 stalls along there. And there's also all our food stalls, or half of the food stalls, just outside the Hackett Cafe. If you know the University Hall, there's a pond at the front of the hall as well. And then we have the indoor section of Winthrop Hall. So downstairs, there's about another 34 stalls there. Then we have our foyer section. Don't get overwhelmed with this. All you really need to know is where's your stall and where you need to go. So we've got a few stalls in the foyer. Then we have the upstairs of Winthrop Hall, which there is another 41 stalls there. And then also out on the grass, you'll see there's like another 50 odd stalls on this side as well. So it's a very big market. We do get about 10,000 people across the day, and people do like to explore the whole market. We have signing them around. So, yes.
Justin, the Winthrop Hall, I know there's 2 levels. Is there a lift to go up if we are at level 1?
Yes, there is a lift. So when you come in to bump in, if you just let the people know that if you need to use a lift, see where this little triangle is here and it says Om Nom Nom food truck. The lift is actually just here, and there's a green button, and you just press the green button, the doors will open and it takes you into the lift that will take you upstairs. Okay. But definitely bring a trolley, or definitely bring a helper if you have one. It's always good to have a helper. Whether you have that just for the bump in, or I actually recommend that you have someone help you all day if possible, because then you can, if you need a toilet break or you need to have something to eat. Also, if you get busy, you might be taking a payment and someone else might be waiting to ask a question. So it's good to have a helper, even if it's just between 10 and 2. If you can't get someone for the whole day, get them for that core period, because you will miss out on sales if you are there just on your own. I would highly recommend getting a friend, and maybe you could entice them, tell them you'll buy them lunch, or give them some free product or something if you can't afford to pay them. So as you can see, the map goes over 8 or 6 pages or so, and then there's 2 different instructions, but we will send you the final map with where you need to go. Probably next week once we finalise it. You'll also get a sheet, which is our bump-in sheet. let me just show you what that would look like. November. So you'll get a sheet that's in alphabetical, and it'll say, you'll just go through, look for your name, and you'll say, okay, I'm Best Ogun, my stall is D20 and I need to come at 6:20 a.m. So you'll get a sheet like this, which is the first thing you'll open up to find out what's your stall number and what time you need to come, and then you'll open up your map and you'll locate where your stall is. Okay, so let me just flick back to my PowerPoint. So how do I get there? We cover that. How should I set up my stall? So the key thing is to remember what is the size of your stall space that you have booked. Now, most of you in the first at Upmarket will have a 2 metre by 1.2 metre deep stall. That's about the size of a trestle table with some room to stand behind it. So what I would recommend you do is even tape it out on your floor at home, set up your table and do a practice setup, and then take a photo of it on your phone, maybe even print it out once you're happy with it. So then when you get there on the day, you've already planned out how your stall's going to be laid out, and you're going to make sure that you stay within your space, because as I showed you before with the floor plan, each of these stalls butt up next to each other, so you have to stay within your space. If you're outside of your space, you're going to have to compress it down and get rid of something. So I strongly recommend that you do a mock setup at home in the coming weeks before you go to the market. And by taking a photo of it, it just makes it, you'll be less stressed on the day, because you go, yeah, that's right, I was going to put all of those there and I was going to put that there, and I'm going to have my business cards here and I'm going to have my sign here. It just takes the stress out of it. So setting up your stall space, I will send you a merchandising guide. If you haven't already downloaded it, I put together some examples of how to set up your stall. There's also some good examples on Pinterest if you haven't had a market stall before. And I'm more than happy if you want to do a practice setup at home and take a photo and send me the photo. I'm happy to give you some feedback on it as well. So what you want to do is have a look through the merchandising guide, but think about not just having everything flat. Think about maybe having different heights, like the girl in this example here. Make it easy for customers to be able to see what you've got on offer. Try not to have too cluttered. Sometimes less is more, and you can always, as you sell things, you can replenish things. Or if someone says, oh, do you have this fabric in a different bag in the clutch or whatever, you can pull that out from under your table. So actually do a proper practice setup. The other thing I highly recommend is make sure every item is clearly priced, because customers will get they do get a bit embarrassed, and they may not ask you how much something is, because they may think, oh, maybe it's a $400 handbag, not a $40 handbag, or vice versa. They might think it's $40 and it's $400. So make sure everything's priced. You might want to have little peel off stickers so that if it's a gift, or where you can rub it out if it's in pencil. But I would definitely have individual pricing, and maybe even bigger pricing if you're having like a bundle, like buy 2 and get 1 free, or buy 1 for 20 and 2 for 35 or 37 or something. You might have like a bundle price, so you could have a bigger sign for those. Make sure you have some business cards so that people can contact you after the market, because it's not only what you sell on the day, it's also the sales that you will get after the event as well. So make sure customers are able to contact you as well. Any questions so far before I move on to what you need to bring?
Yeah, Justine, I have a clothing stall, and it's sort of 2 by 1.2. So what do there's obviously not enough room for changing or whatever. So is there facilities for people for changing in, or is there?
I've actually deliberately put you
I see
down in this corner here.
Yeah.
And you can put your change tent just behind your store.
Oh, great. Okay, and I can bring a mirror and everything there as well. Okay,
yeah.
thank
So
you
there's
very much.
actually like a bookshelf here at the back.
All right. Yeah.
And Leslie she's actually upgraded to a bigger store, a 3-meter store, and then you can have yours. So it's up to you how you want to set. If you want to set it more like an L and put the change in the corner, or whatever you want. But I've deliberately put you there because of the clothing situation.
Right. Thank you very much for that.
That's all right. And in the other parts of the halls, we do have change areas, like after this market, if you decide to reapply again and you move into the Winthrop Hall, well, then up on the stage, there's a room up off the stage where you can put your tent there. And I normally try and put the fashion retailers around here so that people can go and try stuff on there. And in the downstairs section, we've got Beach Street and Akia Rose. There's actually a room in here where they put their change tents. So I'm always really conscious of the fashion people, and because you don't really want them to have to go down to the bathrooms, and then you have to send someone with them and all of that. There are toilets though just outside the hall, so just out here if they want a bit more privacy. But I think if you face it to the side and they're not going to be exposing themselves, so you should be fine in the corner.
Great, thank you.
Okay, let me just get rid of this one. So what do I need to bring? Basically, you need to bring everything unless you have hired a table. And if you had paid to hire a table from us, your store will be in yellow. So for example, Black Dove and Leslie have both hired tables in the first at Upmarket, and like in the other hall, Waxy Wraps and Murph and Murph, they have hired a table. This store has hired a table. So unless you paid, I think it's $35 to hire a table, you need to bring your own table. Saying that, you don't have to have a trestle table. It's up to you depending on what you offer. You might find that a clothing rack with maybe just a little table to do your transactions works better, or maybe some other kind of stall if you've got hanging items. So that's up to you. Some people with art like to have a bit of a screen behind them. So you can see here Sophie, she has mounted some of her art and used that space as well so people can see it in context. There's also a market day packing list that I'll send you a link to. And basically we've just compiled everyone's suggestions about what they need to take to market, and I put it in a one-pager. So I think you'll find that useful. So things like, you know, a backup battery if you have a Square device, change. Most customers tend to pay by card, but having some change there is good for the cash customers. Maybe a little book if you need to take orders to fulfill after the market. Always have comfortable shoes. That would be one of my biggest recommendations. And I guess dress to represent your brand. So for example, Pam, it would be great if you're wearing your designs because people like to see. Same with jewelry people, wear what your designs are. If you're an artist, you might go a bit more funky with overalls, with paint all over them, like just dress to represent your brand. And, you know, a lot of people like to wear an apron or whatever. And so what do you need to bring? If you are using a table, make sure you have a full-length tablecloth to cover all sides. We don't really like to see any boxes, and we don't like to be able to see under the table behind you. So if you can make sure that you have a full-length tablecloth is good as well. And I think the packing list will give you everything that you really need to have on the day. But if you've got extra things, if you do other markets, just add that to the list as well. So I guess the thing, any market that you do, you should think of it as your own pop-up shop, and you should use it. You should use the opportunity. We're obviously going to market the event and we do get thousands of people there, but you should also use it as an opportunity to invite your database and your family and friends and really drive people to your stall. So say I'm popping up at the Perth Upmarket. This is where you'll find me. Here's some of the things I'm bringing. Here is some of the, you know, if you're going to have a special offer on the day for this one day only. So think about in the next 3 weeks what you can do to help drive customers to your store. And that could be through social media, maybe showing some behind the scenes or some photos of what you're bringing. So Facebook and Instagram are usually the 2 key ones. If you have an email newsletter, I'd suggest you invite all your Perth customers to come and see you the week of the market. Tell your family and friends, send out a personal email or messenger. But, you know, it's great when you've got these people who don't know you, who come past and stop, but it's also good that people have been like, oh, I've been meaning to get a bag off you, or I really want to get that dress. Instead of them coming to your studio, use this opportunity and drive them to your stall on the day. Now, if there's anyone that's doing food, if you're selling food that's consumed on the day, like hot food or donuts, cupcakes, things that people are going to eat, you do need to have City of Perth food permits. If you're just doing a taste tester, so say you were doing jams or granola, you don't need a City of Perth permit, but you do still need to be a registered food business and tell us how you're going to offer the taste testers. Obviously with COVID, we need to make sure that we're not having any double dipping and that if you are giving samples, they're given from behind the stall. So we'll send out some more information on that for foodies, but just make sure that you're compliant before the day as well. Okay, so on the day, as I said, you'll get a list of your bumping time. Don't stress. If you don't think you've got enough time, just email me and we can adjust that. It's not such a big drama for where you guys are because it's a massive car park. It's only the ones where the cars are all coming in right to the hall that we need to make sure it's staggered. You'll get a parking permit, so put that on your dash so we know that you're a retailer. I've shown you the maps and you'll get the detailed instructions next week. How to set up and unload. Oh yes, so make sure you don't set up your stall until you've moved your car, and don't go and bring your car to pack up until you've packed everything down, because it really slows up the process. If someone's going up and down and bringing things and putting in their car and going back up and down, everyone will get the cranks with you. So we ask that you pack everything up at the end of the day and then move it out to the loading area and then bring your car in. And then it means everyone's out of there, hopefully by 5:30, if not earlier. So yeah, just be conscious of that as well. So where to park, I already mentioned this before. So the people who are in the first Upmarket, you will park in car park 1 at the back here. And the people who are in the Winthrop Hall will come out and they'll park at car park 17 and 18, leaving the art gallery free for customers. So they're designated for retailers. What else? VIP hour I've mentioned, bring a helper I've mentioned. If you've got a problem on the day, it's better to speak up. If you get there and there's a problem, come and find one of the people in the high-vis vest or ring us. It's better to get it solved at the start of the day instead of if I come around at 1 o'clock and then you say, I'm not very happy with X, Y, and Z. I want you to be happy. I want you to have a great day. So if you have got a problem, please speak up earlier so that we can resolve it rather than get to the end of the day and go home with the cranks because something wasn't as you expected. Does that all make sense?
Yep.
Yep. And don't forget, one of the biggest things is don't forget to smile and engage with your customers. You'll get back what you give. If you sit there all day on your phone looking like you've got a cat's bum, no one's going to stop and talk to you. So you need to be engaging. How you find the market. Is this the first time you've been to the market? Who are you shopping for today? Can I tell you a bit about my products? You need to be standing up and talking to people all day because there's 200 other stalls. At the end of the day, you want them to stop and look and start engage with you so that you can tell them about what your product and the story behind your product. Okay, so after the market is important as well. So I would keep a record of your sales if you can, keep up with it, even if it's just a little tally sheet. You might say, you know, $40 bags or $100 bags or whatever, or you may have a list of all your products and cross them off as you go. And that will help you to review your day and work out whether it was a worthwhile day for you sales wise. It helps you to work out what sold and maybe what didn't sell. You will find that what sells at Upmarket could be quite different to other markets that you do. You will also find that what sells at the March market could be quite different to what sells at the Christmas market that sells at September next year. So we've always got different customers, and it's good to just keep a little track with, you know, what worked well that day, having a special offer, or, you know, no one bought the mini clutch purse, but I sold out of this bag by lunchtime. So keep a track of that so that you know what you need to change for the future. If you're not already, I would encourage you to be building an email list, because then those people, you can invite them to your next market that you do. And I don't know if you saw on the news the other day, Facebook closed down not only news sites, but they also closed down Perth Upmarket Facebook page for 4 days. And yes, it was a little bit stressful, but I knew that I've built up a 12,000 subscriber base. So if you're not already collecting emails, you can ask customers, would they like to join your mailing list? You could even think about running a competition. You might say, oh, I'm giving away a $50 voucher today, or I'm giving away this item, a free scarf or something for anyone that joins my list, as a bit of an encouragement. And then those people that join your list plus your normal database, it's always good to send them an email the next day or two after the market, and also post on social media. So make sure you grab some photos of you at the market and post on social media to thank your fans for coming to visit you at the event. We do send out a survey on about the Wednesday, Thursday after the market to get your feedback, to find out what worked for you, what didn't. We're always looking at how we can improve the market. So please take a few minutes to do that. And then if you want to reapply for the next market, which is June the 13th, the applications will open on Monday and they'll be open for 2 weeks. So if you want to reapply, jump on in the next few days and do your application straight away, because it's easy to get caught up with everything and then forget, and then all of a sudden you're a month down the track and you may have missed the cutoff date. So that's handy to know as well. So I think I've gone through before the day, on the day and after the day. What other questions do you have for me now?
No, I think you've answered everything, Justine.
I hope so. If you haven't already, I encourage you to join the retailers Facebook group. It's Perth Upmarket Retailers, because we do post not just stuff about the market, but other things, other opportunities that come up. And then if you think of something tomorrow, you can ask that in the group. And yeah, you've got not just me answering it, but you've got 200 other people that can jump in and help you answer your question. Actually, one of the questions I often get asked is, how much stock should I bring? And depending on what your sales target is, so if you said to yourself, I want to sell $1,000 worth of stock on that market, I would bring 1.5 times that. So I'd bring $1,500 worth in value. If it was $2,000, then you bring $3,000. 1.5 times whatever your goal is. So if it's 500, it'd be $750 in stock. Let me just have a look. I have got a section on the website. I will upload this video. Is it new retailer? I'm going to find the section. Have a think while I'm looking for it, what other questions you might have.
Justine, hi, it's Rachel from Cinnamon Girl. How are you?
Hi, good, thank you.
Good. Sorry, I was a little bit late. I got caught up and I couldn't make the call.
That's all right.
I just want to ask you, I'm in Hackett. I just saw on the map there that I'm in Hackett Hall H and I'm H number 1.
Yes.
Does that mean I just have one trestle? I've just got 1.18 metre trestle table only?
Yes, that's right. So it's 2 meters. So you've got to leave a little bit for you to get out.
Yeah.
I'll just show you where you're.
Sorry, I mean, that's Hackett Hall. I'm sort of a little bit familiar with UWA, but that's inside.
Yeah, so there's 2 indoor spaces. There's a Winthrop Hall, which is the big one with the clock tower.
Oh, yes.
Has upstairs and downstairs. And then on the pond side, you've got veranda stalls. They all run along the veranda, and there's all food stalls. And then there's a Hackett Cafe, which is owned by the Guild.
Yes.
So it's another indoor space that we hire. And it's at the end of the hall there. So where were you?
At the end of the hall.
Yeah, so you're just near the entry here.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. Thank you. And I'm just so I obviously don't need to bring a marquee or anything. I just bring my trestle table.
Yeah.
Awesome.
There are power points all the way along that bench there. So if you need power to heat up water or anything, if you have a kettle, there's a bit of a table over here, and also down the end here, if you need to boil a kettle, you can do that over to the side as well. I think sometimes people want to also charge their phone or their Square device. If you're not near a power point, you can get the little backup batteries.
Yes.
So we recommend those for markets. So on the
thank you. Once
you log in and you go to Retailer's Home, down the bottom here, our first Upmarket section, I will upload this video. This is the video from last time, but this is where you'll find the merchandising guide, the market day packing list, and then there's a whole heap of questions like, do we hire tables in the hall? How do I get them upstairs? How much stock should I bring? Should I bring a helper? I think I've covered most of this, but there might be some questions here as well that you might think of. There's ATM machines that we bring in, but most people tend to use card. So if you haven't already, I would set up a Square account. You get the little devices at Officeworks for like $50 or $59. You have to set up an account online. You give yourself a week to make sure that's set up, and then you use your phone to connect it to take credit card payments. So if you don't have that, it's well worth having because it'll more than pay for itself because most people want to use card. Yeah. Any other questions? Pam, Sarah?
No, I think you've answered everything so far. So
all right, good. Well,
yes, I do have a question, Justine.
Yes.
So when you showed the map before, I noticed I was going to be back to back with someone else.
Yes.
So there's no walls in between us, is there?
No.
Okay.
Not unless you want to bring your own wall, but you need to make sure that your wall is within your space as well.
Yes.
So it is good if you can have a backdrop, but yeah, just be conscious that you'll basically have backsides together. So this person will be facing out this way and this person will be facing that way.
So people usually bring room dividers or
not normally.
table easel?
Not normally, only if they had like art or something that they wanted to put at the back.
Yeah.
It's just more things to bring. Most people just have a trestle table.
With table easels or stuff like that, just to put framed artworks. Okay.
Yeah, so if you've got art, you may want to have like a screen or a backdrop, a bit similar to how Sophie had hers. If you also look on our Facebook page at some of the photos at past events, or go onto Pinterest and just look up market stall, that will give you some good ideas. And you can actually get a lot of props either on Gumtree, or Kmart has a lot of affordable display items as well, like if you need little boxes to put cards and things and that in as well. Yes.
Good, thank you.
So we will have a front of house person here at the door counting people in and out, but we can have 100 people, 107 or 100 people at any one time. And I don't think the last market I think there was once or twice there was a little bit of a lineup, but compared to the big hall, there was quite a substantial lineup. But we do have concierges that go along the line, and it's because of the COVID restrictions. We're only allowed, there's a 2 square metre rule. So this space can have 100, and in the Hackett Cafe can go up to 480 people across the 2 levels. So we count people in, they come in through the foyer, they can go upstairs or downstairs, but when they want to leave, they need to leave through the downstairs section, and we have an exit on either side. And we've had that in place since September last year. So we've run 2 markets and it has worked quite well. And we found that most of the customers were pretty understanding, and they were going in groups of, 10 or 20 at a time. So they didn't have to wait for too long to get in. And then outside is basically social distancing. It's up to the customers to make their own distancing in the outdoor areas. We will have the COVID safe app that they'll need to check in when they go indoors as well. So are there any other questions before we wrap up tonight? I can, I'll send out the recording in case you missed anything, and also the links to the merchandising guide and the packing list. And as I said, if you have any questions or you think of anything in the coming weeks, yeah, just reach out. You've got 2.5 weeks to go yet. All right.
Justine, sorry, we obviously need to bring a trolley. Is that right as well? Because when we drive, we park in the car park and then trolley our stuff through.
Yes, that is the best idea. Yep, unless you've got like a few helpers that are going to carry it all for you. A trolley is definitely recommended.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you very much.
Yep. All right, we'll finish up there. And if you have any questions, please reach out before the market date. And yeah, I'll send the recording out tomorrow.
Oh, cool.
Thanks, Justine. It's been really good. Thank you.
Have a good night, and hopefully there's no hail.